Terraria was released on May 16, 2011. Upon its release, it achieved incredible commercial success and gained universal critical acclaim. Terraria took the best elements from previous sandbox and survival games, with players able to engage in nearly all classical mechanics like exploration, crafting and building, while introducing things like combat and 2D procedurally generated worlds. It was clear that this was the most expansive and versatile version of a sandbox game yet. Not only was the gameplay improved, but the world itself, filled with biomes, enemies and events, was also phenomenally well designed and filled to the brim with new things to discover and build. The nearly limitless combination of items and equipments, hidden treasures, and procedurally generated worlds opened up endless creative ways to play the game. This combination of expansive worlds and satisfying progression inspired many to take Terraria to its absolute limits. Terraria was quickly picked up by the speedrunning community. While it was easy to understand and learn, it became clear that the game had enormous depth and untapped potential. It was perfectly suited for speedrunning beginners and veterans alike, as they sought to push the game to new heights. Huge creators, such as Baum and others, with fan bases in the hundreds of thousands, helped to inspire a massive number of people to join the Terraria community, which quickly became one of the largest sandbox games of all time. Since the game's release, thousands of runners have come together with one unified purpose: to beat Terraria as fast as possible. To beat Terraria in under 1 hour.
Here we go, off the rails. Don't you know it's time to raise our sails?
This might be a good time to mention that this video is mainly focused on the 1.4 NMA speedruns, but some other runs will also be mentioned. And so, one of the first noted speedruns of Terraria was on May 29, 2020 by SD. This was no proper speedrun with hours spent on optimizing specific techniques, but just a playthrough with the intent of going fast. In fact, this speedrun wasn't even meant for the Moonlord category. He was actually beating all bosses in this run and just happened to be one of the first people that submitted a run to the leaderboard in 1.4. Duran during this time managed to beat the game in around 4 hours, a respectable feat for his time. During this month, the speedrunning community worked tirelessly to refine their strategies. The world record dropped quickly as players discovered efficient ways to navigate through Terraria's biomes, defeat bosses, and collect the materials needed to progress. Players began discovering skips, like avoiding certain fights entirely, or using mobility items and accessories to bypass obstacles that were meant to slow them down. And by the end of the first month of proper speedrunning, the world record was dropped down by more than an hour, with Duran still keeping his spot at the top, even though he didn't even mean to have the Moonlord % world record. Strategies that had been developed years earlier was now getting refined to be optimized as much as possible. For example, the Wall of Flesh fight became a critical part for any top tier run, where players would use explosives, specifically dynamites, to get through the underworld without triggering the usual difficulties during this fight, thus being able to beat the Wall of Flesh in under 30 seconds. Throughout 2020, the speedrunning scene for Terraria exploded. Key players like SD kept posting more world records that brought the world record down by tens of minutes each time. By the end of 2020, Terraria's classic glitches speedrun was refined to the point where it was one of the most competitive categories in Terraria. One of the most legendary speedrunners to emerge from this era was Max Overpower, who had previously been known for his glitchless co-op and all bosses speedruns. He, like Duran, also got his first world records in Moonlord % while doing all bosses speedruns. Then, he later switched to Moonlord % when he realized the potential he actually had. Max's approach to the game set him apart from the competition. Rather than focusing on the leaderboard, he worked tirelessly to perfect his runs, minimizing the time loss from human error, implementing new strategies and routes to his runs. Max's dedication to self-improvement and his love for the game became an inspiration for many other runners in the community. Max was the first Terraria speedrunner to really go all in on the most optimal strategies, no matter the difficulty. By early 2022, he had almost solely pushed the record down to a stunning 1 hour and 27 minutes. But after that, Max Overpower decided to step away from the solo runs and focus more on multiplayer categories. During this break, other runners like Tech69 and Psyonix were able to catch up. It took more than a month for anyone to even tie Max's record, and at this point he had held it himself for more than a year. If that doesn't sound impressive, let me break down for you. There were lots of Terraria speedrunners playing non-stop, and it still took this long for someone to match his time. The first major breakthrough came from Tech69, who set a new world record of 1 hour, 26 minutes and 2 seconds on May 27. He grinded for hours upon hours to get an optimal seed for his run, and then he finally got it. Psyonix then soon took the world record a couple of months later, with a 1 hour, 25 minute and 16 second run. The Terraria leaderboard at this point was beginning to slow down.
mostly because of the lack of new strategies being developed, and people thought that the record might not improve much more than this. Although, they were proved wrong. This was the first time that the leaderboard saw the Habu's name, surpassing Psyonix with optimization in his runs, shaving the record down by 4 minutes, only to then be brought down by Afroman a while later. Then the record stood still, again, for a while, until the release of Shimmer on September 28, 2022. This was a game changer, enabling dramatic time saves. Speedrunners quickly adapted and developed new routes to minimize the luck factors in runs. An example of this is transforming any emblem dropped from the Wall of Flesh into the Ranger emblem that is crucial for being the mechanical bosses. This was done with plenty of different items to minimize the need of grinding. Even though it took a while to get to the Shimmer, all of these time saves ended up saving lots of time in the end. At this point, new runners tuned into the Terraria scene, most notable Shug7, who beat Afroman's record with a 1 hour, 17 minute and 45 second run on January 27, 2023. In his runs, he used optimized strategies to find the Shimmer and each week brought the record down minute by minute. With the new 1.4.4 update, more time saves were discovered, probably one of the biggest in Terraria speedrunning history. This was done by one single item, the lance. Previously, the main weapon of choice throughout the hard mode was the hollowed repeater. No one had really overlooked the lance before. It's a pointy spear, but there's really nothing more to it than that. Or so we thought. It turns out that with certain setups, most of them involving minecarts and teleporters, made some bosses unable to hit you as well as being able to beat them super quickly with these newfound lance setups. These setups had been on for a while, but the problem was that you couldn't get your hands on teleporters until the release of the 1.4.4 update, when the mechanics started selling teleporters instead of the steampunker. In this update, lances also started doing more damage, which is also one of the reasons why they started getting used. I mean, just look at how much damage this does. For example, this was done during the Plantera fight and the Golem fight with different variations depending on your gear, with the fastest one being the fast Golem setup, but also the most dangerous. And even though I only mentioned previous world record holders in my video, lots of credit should go to the entire Terraria speedrun community for working and discovering these new strategies. Without them, these improvements would have been impossible. By this time the record was constantly being passed around by Shug, the Habu and Afroman. It was also around this point that the sub 1 hour run began to be considered more serious. It had been proven for a while that a run under 1 hour was theoretically possible. This was done by proving that if you spliced together the best segments of every top runner to create a theoretically perfect run, it was achievable. But now that it seemed to be on the horizon, all of the top runners started to focus on their runs with much more intent. None of them could come close yet, mostly because of the big luck factors in the game, with finding the Plantera's bulb being the hardest one. In the new update, the Plantera's bulb instantly spawns when the mechs are killed, so finding the bulb was much quicker now since you didn't have to spend much time sleeping to make time go faster in order for the bulb to spawn. Even though this itself was a huge time save, it could still be pretty tricky finding the bulb itself. They started grinding away. Every top runner wanted to be the first one to get the legendary sub 1 hour run. Shu got a 1:16.04, then Habu 1:16.01, then Shug again with a 1:11.46, shaving the record down by 4 minutes. As the days kept passing during the early months of 2023, the race to break the sub 1 hour barrier in Terraria became even more intense. By late March, the record had been shaven down to a 1 hour 9 minute and 28 second run by Afroman using continuous optimization and relentless grinding. Each runner pushing their limits, trying to squeeze out every last second of improvement. In this era of fierce competition, the leaderboard was in constant flux. Each new optimization or minor adjustment can mean the difference between a world record and just falling short. A strat that I haven't mentioned yet is the chicken teriyaki, which is a minecart setup which involves 3 booster tracks and hammering a certain minecart track. This strat can make you travel from one side of the world to the other within a matter of minutes, making traveling to the Shimmer, Cultist, and the different pillars super quick. The pressure was on, and the runners were fully committed to finding the perfect run, beating luck and proving themselves to be the fastest player in Terraria. On March 29th, Shpabi delivered a performance that turned heads with a run clocking in at 1 hour, 8 minutes and 22 seconds. Although this run was initially unlisted, it represented a significant leap in optimizing movement and in-game decisions. This performance set the stage for the intense competition that would follow, hinting at the potential breaking point of the sub 1 hour barrier. Just a week later, Afroman surged into the spotlight with a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 27 seconds. This run showcased Afroman's keen sense of timing and precise execution. By optimizing movement and leveraging a bit of luck in locating the Plantera's bulb, Afroman set a new standard, pushing the competitive boundary closer to the 1 hour mark. This is also one of the first runs that used a fairly new strat which involves basically being able to have 2 different spawn points at the same time. This was done through a neat little door sand contraption, making you able to travel between your bed and the world's original spawn point within a matter of seconds. Traveling between the Shimmer and spawn, which previously took plenty of minutes for runs, almost became effortless. By April 15th, Aftermath had once again raised the bar with a remarkable 1 hour, 2 minute and 42 second run. This performance marked a significant advancement, improving his run by 3 minutes. These improvements were first of all made because Aftermath played out of his mind, but also because the community recently found out that doing Stardust Builder first can actually be faster with a new setup, making the fights a bit more consistent, as well as being able to do the other builds in different orders with new setups, helped improve the world record at this time of speedrunning history. Lots of strategy development went into the game at this point since everyone was so eager to see the game beaten in under 1 hour, seeing someone break such a grand barrier in Terraria history. Then May came, and on the 15th, a new player, Zoe the Cat, broke onto the scene with a time of 1 hour, 1 minute and 19 seconds. Just days later though, the Habu made a significant leap with a run of 1 hour and 52 seconds on May 20th. This time he marked a pivotal moment in the race for the sub 1 hour mark. The Habu's run was only 53 seconds away from breaking the sub 1 hour barrier. At this point, one death, one mistake, even one misclick can mean the difference between breaking the sub 1 hour barrier and falling short by 50 seconds. 9 days later, after the Habu's world record, Afterman made another push with a time of 1 hour and 18 seconds. During this run, Afterman made one single mistake, which cost him the chance of a sub 1 hour run. He lost more than 30 seconds because he died once during the Vortex Pillar. This shows how difficult it was getting a run under 1 hour. One small mistake could literally be the difference between achieving it or not. Even though this run wasn't under 1 hour, it was an important milestone, inching ever closer to the sub 1 hour record. But who is going to do it? Do the impossible. The intensity was reaching its peak and every single second mattered. Then came the decisive moment. Afroman, who at this point was only 18 seconds away from the world record, gave it everything he had. He launched into another run, fully aware that this was the final stretch. He executed each segment with remarkable precision, his movements were flawless, every button press was calculated, and he handled every challenge with the utmost care. This run unfolded seamlessly as he navigated through each boss with remarkable efficiency. His focus was on yielding as he approached the late game, where the key to success lay in beating the lunatic cultist, being on pace to beat Terraria in under 1 hour. As he neared the crucial moment, tension was at its peak. Afterman had meticulously optimized every part of his run, but when the lunatic cultist spawned, he made one single mistake, taking too long to attack the cultist, costing his run and the chance of the world record. That's when another player saw the opportunity to be the first to finish a run in under 1 hour. The Habu immediately started up a run with unwavering determination. He approached the game once more, he refined his strategy, ensuring every detail was attended to. The Habu played with unparalleled focus and precision. Each jump was perfect, every button press executed with meticulous care. And on May 31st, 2023, he did this.
I killed main eye, which sucks. I'm overhealing. I'm aware. Don't care. My arm is literally going numb. My arm is literally numb. Oh my god. Oh. I don't have anything to say.
The record was shattered. The once thought impossible sub 1 hour barrier had been conquered. Not only did he beat Terraria in under 1 hour, he beat it under 1 hour with 40 seconds to spare. The speedrunning community erupted in celebration, with hundreds tuning in to witness this historic moment. The Habu had redefined the limits of Terraria speedrunning, marking a new chapter in the game's history. Who knows where the record will stand in the future, and who will be the next one to take Terraria to its absolute limits.